Hey, put on your seatbelt. Let's go.
All right, turn up the music.
Can't wait for camp this summer. Will he be there? I wonder. I know I won't wanna go home. Never felt so good in my skin. In the heat, we're feeling something. I know we won't wanna go home. There's a killer on the loose. Look out, he's right behind you. He won't give me the axe. I'm scared, but I'm fighting back. We are the scream queens, running through the night. We are the scream queens, gonna put up a fight, make everything alright. Flowing through.
Welcome to Scream Queens Horror Road Trip Podcast. Oh, that extra fancy scream is your final girl, Miss Justine.
What up, what up? And to my left is Soul Survivor Mr. Josh. How are you?
I am great. We're unfortunately driving through very windy conditions, probably about to go through a thunderstorm. I have a cold or a sinus infection, not COVID. And you know what? The podcast gods aren't on our side. But damn it, we're doing it,
Not
aren't
today.
we?
Yeah, I know. Not today. They are not, but we will persevere. That's who we are, Josh.
We'll get through this together. We'll get through it with you guys.
Yes, one big, happy, windy, gusty family.
Yes, and it's gray.
Yes.
I can see the rain ahead, so bear with us. We're gonna bring you a show, damn it.
That's what we're going to do today, guys. And
It's episode 75.
yes, we've made it. It's like a milestone of sorts. 75 road
75
trips.
road trips, can you believe it? And we are heading to Hot Springs, Arkansas on this one.
Oh yeah, guys, we are going to dip our beautiful bodies in Hot Springs, Arkansas, so that we can cover the movie House of Wax from 2005
Yes, the movie that famously killed Paris Hilton.
in a movie.
Well, that was its tagline. Like, that was on lots of the posters. Like,
Yes.
see Paris Hilton die.
Yeah, and
There's
she
even
is on the cover of like the
the wax.
Blu-ray and stuff. Like, yeah, like she's all waxed up.
Yep, she's the poster. The dripping
Yes.
wax lady.
dripping waxy bitch.
But our main focus in Hot Springs is the Wax Museum.
Yeah, we're gonna go hit up that Madame Tussaud and see what famous celebrities are forever hanging out.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of great things about Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's supposed to be just like this cool little town in the middle of like the hills. Obviously, there's hot springs. And we just thought that would be a perfect place to go see a wax museum because in the movie, it's this little tiny town. I mean, obviously a lot smaller than Hot Springs, but, you know, we thought the correlation, the vibe.
Was fitting, yeah.
Fit.
And the main
It's
thing
fit.
is it's a wax museum, so there's not too many of those around, right? I mean, I don't know for sure, like,
Well,
but I
we're-
know Madame Tussauds is a chain of wax
Yes.
museums, but
And we're in Oklahoma City, leaving. I mean, we're not there now. We're on I-40 way east, but we don't know of any wax museums in Oklahoma. So here
Yeah.
we go to Arkansas.
Arkansas. I just love Arkansas.
Love my ball, love my ball.
I just love all Arkansas.
You know we always got to bring you a show tune if we know one.
Oh my gosh, guys.
Um,
It is our life. It's your life right now.
Yeah, so
Let's dive into
Let's-
it. It's 2005 House of Wax. That's what we're covering.
let's pour that wax on it.
Yes, and let's strip it off. Let's get bare ass.
Let's get that Brazilian.
Yes.
Get your tank clean.
Get it all just nice and smoothed out.
You got to these days. When I wear my G-string or my French bikini.
Josh has these
French
really
cut.
cute, like, underwears where it's just the trim of the shorts, you know, like it's assless.
Yeah.
And
I need to get cleaned up.
you
for
need
those.
just some what man maintenance
Yes,
trimming
of
up
course.
there. We're gonna get in the hot springs, and you're gonna find a hot daddy.
That's right.
Zaddies and daddies
Everywhere
out
I
there.
go. So, the movie starts.
Oh, okay. The director first.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, guys. Also, no, did I bother to like listen to how this person's name is pronounced? No, and so I'm probably going to kind of.
Yes, we apologize if we mispronounce the name.
Yes, but Spanish American director Juan Colette Serra.
And he's actually done some pretty decent movies. He went on to, after this to do Orphanage and
No, The Orphan.
The Orphan.
Sorry, guys. There's
Sorry.
still like an orphanage, and
Yeah,
that's
there
like
is,
a
yeah.
different.
He did The Orphan, and he also did
The Shallows.
The Shallows,
Yes.
which are
He's
fun
done other
movies.
movies, but those are in the horror wheelhouse. So, but yeah. So, and I don't mind. You said you hadn't seen Orphan, but I
Yeah.
don't mind it.
I know kind of everything about it. That's the main reason I haven't seen it, because the end has been spoiled for me. But I've heard good things.
Good things, everyone. Good things. And then, of course, we've mentioned it's got Paris Hilton, Elijah Cuthbert, Chad Michael Murray,
Jared Padalecki
Padalecki. He's
from
a
Supernatural fame.
Padalecki man.
Tall hunk of a man.
Oh man, like now in this movie there is a dig that is given to him towards the very opening of this film, and it is very true, but it's also like his look for most of the like 2000s.
I feel like he still looks the same, like same haircut.
That He-Man haircut, and like, but it's brought up at the beginning, and then I can't let it go through like the whole film. I just like every time I look at him, I'm kind of
He-Man
chuckling.
haircut.
He-Man haircut, Jared Padalecki got the He-Man haircut. All right, Padalecki Daddy.
See, we'll even make up songs for you guys.
I know if we don't have a show tune, we'll make it,
one.
and we believe in our own gifts and talents, even though you might not. We know that we are gifted songwriters, and it's a passion of ours.
We have
so
a whole repertoire of music.
I feel like there's triple threats, and we are like just a numerous threat. There's so many. Like
It's just ongoing.
it is like
It's
we're
like infinity threats is what
magic
we are.
threats, like just
Infinity threats. There we
infinity
go.
threats. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
It's just-
I mean, not to toot our own horns.
We're always
but,
discovering more fantastic things about ourselves.
like, we just keep realizing how fucking wonderful we really are. So, okay, all right. So let's get into it. Opening scene, our opening credits. We get to this crazy like introduction into like child abuse and neglect, and
Yeah, they're like tying kids to.
It's like a
baby
family,
chairs. Yeah, there's
yeah.
two brothers.
yes, and these are like young kids. I'd say probably like 3 or 4.
We're not seeing anybody's face.
No.
It's everybody's body. It's like the Muppet Babies and Nanny, but
child
all
abuse.
but child abuse and all the characters.
Yes.
We're always
yeah.
seeing striped socks. Okay.
But we see mom and dad who are equally participating in this child abuse,
Yeah.
and
They're obviously favoring one child over another. They're pouring bowl after bowl of cereal for this one kid.
I'm just thinking, all that sugar,
Tying up another kid.
tying up another kid, and by tying up, I mean it's there's we get a little note that it's 1974.
Yes.
So it's 1974, and I guess we're okay with how we strap kids into high chairs.
Yeah, there were no child abuse laws in 1974.
No,
apparently.
like restraining kids, and I guess maybe it's that this child is a wild child. They're kind of thrashing around.
Yeah,
and
I guess it's not so
screaming,
much tying in as it is strapping
and, yeah,
in. But like you said, yeah, they're screaming. and-
it's just immediately intense, and I guess this is laying out why our villains are villains, which is, I don't know, something that like was for me kind of like, that's not my favorite thing about a movie when I have to, or when it's implied that I need to be sympathizing with.
Well, not only that,
Just
but
like-
it's kind of a bad message. Like, oh yeah, every child that was abused
Is
turns
gonna-
out to be a murderer.
Yes.
I'm like, no, I don't think it works that way. I think they
No.
grow up to be depressed, self-loathing,
Mhm.
a lot of issues, but I don't think maybe murderer is
Right.
one of them.
Maybe they act out.
But and that's a very overused cliche in
Yes.
horror movies. I mean,
Well, kind of anything that might make you not like what society thinks you should be, or just whoever you are, like that's demonized.
Right.
That's the reason why you're going to be this bad person at the end of the movie, or why you're the bad person in the movie.
Yeah. It's just overused.
Yeah.
Come up with something else.
Please.
Like, have an overspoiled child become a murderer. Like, I guess they did that with Dandy on American Horror Story.
That's
but...
true. But that was good. Okay.
Yeah.
So we get to meet this like insane family, and then next up, cut to, we meet kind of our central characters. It's a group of 6. They're at like a little off the road diner, having a little bite to eat.
They're eating French fries and laughing. Paris Hilton looks like she's never sat on an outside diner in her life.
She has no idea how even to compose herself.
And I gotta say, we're not really Paris Hilton haters.
No.
We kind of love her Netflix shows. When I worked in LA, I know people that had to deliver to her, and she was always very kind to like the people I worked with, and tipped really well. And I had a conversation on the phone with her one time about cheese, and she was really funny and nice. So she's cool in my book.
Yeah, I don't know, like she cracks my ass up. I don't mind her at all. Even at all the time. Like I've never been annoyed by Paris Hilton. Of course, like the idea that she lives such a
Lavish life.
Yeah.
Family, but
That's not
just
her fault.
Yeah, people are just jealous.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I had a rich ass family
Yeah.
that gave me everything I ever wanted.
Yeah, I'm clearly envious of her life, not jealous of her.
Yeah.
So, jealousy.
But we also have the early 2000s or mid 2000s darling Elisha Cuthbert.
Yes,
from,
baby
like,
24.
Yeah, she was 24, old school. She was also, what else was she in back then?
She was that girl next door.
Yes,
movie.
the girl next door. That's what I
Uh-huh.
was thinking of.
Yeah.
With Bill Hirsch.
She was definitely like an early aughts to mid aughts baby, Hollywood baby.
And I always thought she was a fun presence. I liked her in old school.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Like the cast was calling me. Now we get to the duties, and I'm like, Chad Michael Murray playing just his regular kind of self, which is this like.
I will say that is one problem with the movie is that he's very unlikable, and then all of a sudden he's unlikable, and then he's supposed to be the hero, and you're
Yeah.
like, but I don't like this guy.
Yeah, I mean,
why
he's
is
a-
Jared Padalecki not our hero?
Yes, exactly. It's like, okay, we get this introduction of all of these characters, and Chad Michael Murray, his character's name is Nick, and he is the twin sibling, well, that's redundant, but he's
The
twins
twin.
with Carly, who is Elisha Cuthbert.
And I will say, I guess that's the point, because it's a story about siblings.
Yes.
The villains are siblings.
Yes.
So the heroes
Are going to be
siblings.
siblings. In fact, they're going to be twins versus twins.
Or
And
maybe they could have like flipped things around, made the boyfriend really shitty, and us like the brother. Or I don't
yeah,
know.
something. But when this movie opens and we're introduced to him, he kicks a homeless man and tells him to get a job.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna like this guy.
Yeah, fuck him.
And then he keeps on acting like that. But okay, we'll round out our characters. So we've got Paige, who's played by Paris Hilton, and then Carly is Elijah Cuthbert. Jared Padalecki's character's name is Wade, and then Paige's boyfriend is Blake, and then we have Nick's friend Dalton, and Dalton is an actor from Scary Movie.
He also did a weird, if maybe someone will remember, that he did like a 6-month, 1-year stint on Ellen as like the DJ. I remember that too,
Yes.
which was just random and weird. But yeah, maybe somebody out there remembers that.
And I need to like write that guy's name down, but okay. But
well,
the
he's
second half will
honestly just
housekeep.
in this movie to die.
Yeah.
He's not really a real character. He's just like the goofy guy that's bumbling
walking around with his
most
like
of the
camera, getting on everyone's nerves.
Yeah, there's almost nothing to talk about with him until he dies. You
Yeah.
know? Like,
Yeah. He has just like, really not very much to do, and
But they're all at this diner hanging out, eating, getting ready to leave. I don't know why they're leaving in the middle of the night, or
they've already been
okay,
driving.
they've been driving all
So
day.
they're from
Okay.
Gainesville, Florida, and they're driving to
Baton Rouge.
in like Louisiana because they're going to an LSU game.
And I'm
is
sorry,
the whole point.
they could have done that in a day.
Yes.
Justine and I drive to Disney World all the time, and we stop in New Orleans and then go to Orlando. Baton Rouge is only an hour before New Orleans, and New Orleans to Orlando you can do in a day easily.
Yeah.
So the fact that they took them like 2 days and had to camp to go like maybe 8 hours, 7 hours.
It just shows that they don't have the kind of road dedication that you and I do.
I know.
That's what it is. And
They're not
they're not-
seasoned road trippers
exactly.
like we are.
It just takes a trained ass to sit for 12 hours. So
Well,
not consecutive. I mean, we have to get up and like.
they only needed to sit for like 7 or 8.
I know. I'm not trying to make excuses for them, Josh.
It's all Paris Hilton's
It's
fault.
just,
She
yeah.
was like,
She's like, I can't. My velour pantsuit, like, outfit needs just,
gonna get crushed.
yeah, a little movement. But, all right. Maybe they just got a late start in general. Maybe they all had classes or something because they're supposed to be all, like, college students and stuff.
Yeah, they're fleshing out some kind of narrative that, Carly is about to leave to go to New York.
She
and-
got an internship at In Style magazine,
Yeah.
which also I think is very like time boxy of
Yeah.
like it's 2005.
Right. And her supportive best friend is Paris Hilton. That's like, you go, girl. You don't want to
She's gonna
stay
go with
here."
her.
Yeah, she's
Like-
gonna go. Her boyfriend Jared Padalecki's a little sour, but he's being supportive. But he's a little bummed about her going.
Yes.
Her brother's on this road trip with them. That's Chad Michael Murray. He's like a big delinquent, had been in prison or jail for a little bit.
Yeah, he has to like keep getting bailed out because she kind of rolls off his list of like he fought a cop and blamed it on the cop, and then he stole a car and blamed it on her, and he broke into a house or something and blamed it on his parent or whatever. Anyway, she's always blame game. That's him. But he's also sour. He can't seem to really express why he acts like a delinquent other than telling her, well, I'm the evil twin and you're the good twin.
Yeah.
Like, those are real things that happen in real life. Like, you just wake up as twins and you're like, okay, so, like, you're the naughty twin
Well,
and I'm the sweet one.
Yeah. He lives his life as a victim.
He does, yeah. He plays the
And so-
victim
and
card.
She even says it's always somebody else's fault. He hates her because she didn't like cover his ass for the cops, but she didn't rat him out either. But
Yeah.
it's like, you could have done more.
You
And
just
she's
like could have done more by me, but like that's what, yeah.
So they eat their French fries and then they get back on the road. I guess to drive another 45 minutes before they decide to camp.
Yeah, well, it all is because Blake's new truck or whatever, tells them that there's a detour.
That's
that
right.
they can, like, trim their whole trip by an hour if they take this detour. So they are taking the detour, and the detour has a detour. And they decide they don't really know where they're going at this point, and it's better to just get off the road and assume that a forested area is just like eligible for camping,
Yeah.
and then camp out and have like a loud ass little party, and then wonder why someone wants to inquire, why is it so loud out here?
Yeah, they're being just assholes in the middle of nowhere, but also just on probably someone's private property.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, a truck rolls up, shines their lights on them, they get all freaked out.
I'm not saying that this truck isn't trying to act weird or intimidating, but I'm just thinking, if you're the person in the truck and that's your property,
You're probably
Then-
gonna wonder what's going on.
yeah. But maybe it's not their property also. We don't know this yet. We just know that there's a truck that pulls up, has its brights on, and then our characters are all like, stop it! Like, don't treat us this way! Quit!
Turn your lights off.
Sure, quit! And of course, our macho aggressive Nick throws his like beer bottle because that's what's needed to happen, and it
Uh-huh.
busts a headlight. But we kind of need that for the film. We need that for the plot.
Yeah, the busted headlight's gonna come back.
Yes, so busts the headlight, and then that truck says, "Okay, I got your number, motherfuckers." And they head off, and Nick and all of them think like, "Yeah, we told you. Haha, let's keep partying."
We scared you with that beer bottle. It's not domestic.
Yeah, you were like, "What, Modelo? I didn't see that coming." So they're partying real hard, and I don't really mean that. Like, they're all sitting in like lawn chairs, and nasty, like, gross music is like playing that it's not my kind of music.
Yeah, a
It
lot
is-
of really bad, like, emo from 2004, 2005.
And
plays
I
on the
listened
soundtrack.
to emo back in like 2004, 2005 music. So I'm just saying, it wasn't even up to par for me at that time. And we also get like I think at least that it's Paris Hilton, kind of like tongue-in-cheeky with the camera.
Oh, yeah.
So Dalton has a little home camera, and he's like weirdly, pervertedly filming like everybody making out, and he's all like, "Yeah, oh yeah, give it to me, yeah." Like,
catches Paris giving her boyfriend a roadie when they're driving next to him before they pull over in camp earlier.
Yeah.
We forgot to mention that.
a little roadie, but she actually just dropped her lip balm.
And she's like, "It's my lip balm,
I
guys.
dropped
I wasn't
it.
giving a blowy."
I dropped this lip balm all over his.
Dick.
Sorry. Yeah, so they just like party the night away
They go to
and go to
sleep.
sleep.
Doesn't she wake up in the middle of the night hearing
Yeah,
something?
Carly does wake up. She thinks she hears something, and we know she hears something because we know that somebody at the campsite is using Dalton's camera to
Yeah.
film from their point of view. And she goes out and looks, so we get a little suspenseful moment of like, oh gosh,
Oh my God,
is
is someone gonna get her?
someone gonna grab her and
Is she
get
gonna
her?
Is she gonna get got?
She's gotten, but she wasn't gotten. Her He-Man comes out, and he's like, "Girl, get back in this tent so I can touch your little ass." And
Shoo you in.
yeah, shoot you
Give you a
in.
little
He just
tap.
kind of like gives her a little finger poke right in the little booty hole. And she's all like, "Stop it. Okay, like, yeah, let's like go in here." I have to mention that like they don't really have too much PDA, which I enjoy. Like I kind of don't always enjoy having to watch people just make out on screen just for the sake of like, this is a boyfriend and girlfriend situation, or this is a couple situation. They're obviously having some tenuous moments because like he maybe doesn't want her to really go to New York, so like they're a couple, but they kind of like find themselves a lot being awkward around each other and not really knowing what to say necessarily.
So everybody wakes up late at like 2 p.m.
Yeah, and what?
Which is ridiculous. I don't know. Even in college, I don't know. 2 p.m. and
In
they're
a
all
tent?
like in a tent. Yeah, you're like already hot, a little sweaty in a tent by like
with your tits.
by like 10 a.m. You know,
Yeah.
those
10.
things get stuffy.
10 in a tent with tits.
10 in a tent with tits. There's no way.
So yeah, they're gonna like pack up and leave. Dalton realizes he can't find his camera. Where's my candid camera?
What happened to it?
And Wade's trying to like start his car, and he realizes that the fan belt is broken. And Carly and Paige go off into the forest because they're gonna take big dumps before they have to like leave.
They're like, "Come on, girl, we can wipe each other's asses with leaves.
It's just how we do it out here in the woods.
We'll dig a little kiddie hole and poop in it, and then cover it back up.
And then eat it. Oh wait, no, we're gonna cover
Cover
it
it
back,
back
up.
up.
Okay. And like the night before, they had all witnessed this wafting, gross, dead smell, and they're out there in the forest taking their dumpies, and they smell it again, and like no one should do, but for some reason this bitch does. Carly's like, I'm gonna go find out where that rancid ass, like, sour death smell
She's
is
like,
coming
I'm gonna get
from.
closer to it.
Yeah, I want to see just like how immersed I can be in that smell.
Because part of me is like, you guys are leaving. Why do
Yeah.
you care? I would be
Why?
like, let's get the fuck out of here. It stinks.
Yeah, and Paige, at least, Paris Hilton's like, why? I don't care. We're about to leave.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. Kind of like pointing out, like, there's no reason for you to do this, but she
Yeah, we're
does.
not camping here another night.
And she loses her footing or falls and tumbles and like nearly face plants. Her hands and stuff are like in innards of dead
Yes,
animal
it's like
carcasses.
a dead animal pit.
Yeah, you kind of like zoom out and there's all of this like
Yeah.
blood and guts.
And she rolls down the hill, and then it's like the front part of her body and her hands go in, and she every time she tries to push herself back up, her hands like sink more into like the dead animals.
And it's like blood and pus and like bugs and it's nasty.
It looks kind of ridiculous because you're like, okay, you could use your core strength and just pull yourself
Yeah.
up. You look pretty fit. You could, I don't know. And she's just screaming helplessly.
It just looks like she's laying on her stomach.
It could just
And
like
can't,
roll over
like,
and get up
yeah,
if she wanted.
it's strange, but
Anyways, the
I'm-
boys come to her rescue.
yeah, I'm like maybe from the we just can't see the incline or something,
Yeah.
how steep it might be, but yeah, she can't get up, so people have to come and save her, and then everybody's like, what the hell? Because they see a human hand, well, what looks like a human hand coming out of this collection of dead animal carcasses, and it's quite a collection.
And while they're all freaking out and trying to like clean off her hands and whatnot, this hillbilly rolls up in a truck and he starts dumping a dead deer in the pit. And then he goes up to that hand and pulls it off, and they're like, oh my god! And he's like, it's just a mannequin I threw in here last week.
Yeah. Why
And
are you
the-
gonna be so scared?
And they're like, oh, okay, well, can you tell us how we can fix our car?
Well, yeah, like they kind of are just like talking around him. Like they want to, like, I don't, like, he tells them that there's like a town up ahead, but it's 15 miles, and they're all like, oh my gosh, like, we got to get to this game, but like, whatever. And I'm like, you can go, but like, don't go. It's just weird. And so the hillbilly guy's like, I'll take you into town if you want. And so they divide up, and Wade and Carly go with the hillbilly guy, and the rest of them
Stay
decide
back.
to go. No, they decide to go to the game.
Oh, yeah, they get in the truck. And
They
start
get in the
heading to
truck
game,
and
that's
they
right.
go to the game, and supposedly they're gonna get tickets and leave them at will call for
Uh-huh.
Wade and Carly,
From a scalper. They're going to scalp
Yeah.
tickets.
and then take it to will call, which I did not understand.
Another thing, Jared Padalecki kind of comes off as a bad boyfriend. One, he makes her sit by the creepy guy in the middle of the truck after the guy's been like ogling her.
Yeah.
There's a part where Chad Michaelberry takes his shirt off so we can have like a yummy shirtless moment and gives it to Carly to change because you know she's been in the animal pit.
Yes.
And the hillbilly's like just ogling her, like getting all like horny and nasty.
And like Dalton is like trying to like block the view of her.
Yeah, they're all being very gentlemen. The friends are. They're like, they're blocking her, and Dalton has the shirt up holding it.
But Wade is caught up in his feelings, and
Makes her sit by the creepy guy that was just like sexually harassing her. It's weird.
I think he is like, he's pissed that she's leaving for New York, and so all of these like little microaggressions are like him showing that he's just upset.
And then
He does this continually.
Yeah, and they're heading into town, and they get to a stop. And he's like, "Oh yeah, there's like now a creek in front of the road, and we're just gonna have to walk the rest of the way." So
He asks if they can get out and put chains or whatever on his tires so he can get over that, and they don't really believe that that's really going to happen. They just get an icky feeling from it, so they're like, no, we'll walk the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, fuck you, I was trying to like be nice. And so they walk for like one more minute, and then they see that in fact, like there is a
There's a
town,
road.
and he really was just needing to put the chains on his tires to get through this really muddy, washed out road area, and he had just forgotten that area had been washed out. And so Jared Padalecki's character is like, man, I was such an asshole. I'm like, yeah, but there was a few times where you were an asshole back there, dude, but it wasn't for that. Like, it's because you were just being a jerk to your girlfriend. But so they are walking down the main street of Ambrose.
And it's empty. And
Yeah.
it's all like very Art Deco architecture. And it's just like one little strip with some buildings, like maybe a house or two, a wax museum, a gas station. It's most like
Movie
random,
theater.
random.
Oh, it's
hodgepodge
raining,
of-
guys. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll just speak up a little louder.
Yeah,
if we
we're
have
just
to.
gonna speak up and be closer. So, and when they are walking through, it does look a little bit lively. At least like they're hearing the sound of like the church. There seems to be kind of some activity going on in there,
They're
and
trying
they
to
can't find anybody.
Yeah, and they're trying to find a mechanic. They want to go to the gas station. They need to find
The fan belt.
They need to get a fan belt. So they're just kind of walking around. They walk into the wax museum first, right?
Well, they first go into the church
The
and
church.
interrupt what they think is like a funeral. And there is a guy that comes out, and they're like, sorry, we're just looking for Bo. We need a fan belt. This is Bo. He's like, well, I'm here. How dare you fucking interrupt that funeral? Because we were just like, let me just go drop that body in the ground real quick, and then I'll go get your fucking fan belt. It's like,
He's like,
everybody is so needlessly like just
They're like,
not understanding.
They're like, we just came to the church. We didn't know there was a funeral taking place.
Yeah,
inside,
there wasn't
asshole.
a sign that said like funeral in progress. There was nothing, in fact. But okay, you're just gonna be a jerk. So, anyways, he kind of like cools off. He's like, you know what? Let me wrap up this service, and I'll meet you guys at the station. I need like a half hour. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll just find something to do in town. And which I do think is kind of weird, because like, why would he give them
Time to
so much
explore.
time to explore and find out something? But okay, we'll keep going. We're gonna keep going with it. So they decide to go up to the House of Wax, and it's indeed made of wax, and it is a huge house.
Which I don't understand. They're in like Louisiana or the southern USA.
Yeah, it's
like,
gonna be fucking hot.
You're telling me this structure makes it through like July and August?
That's what they're telling you, Josh. That is what they are telling you. They're saying it doesn't get that hot here in Louisiana where we are. It's actually really cold and chilly. It's like a tundra.
Yeah, it doesn't quite make sense to me. I mean, it's a really cool concept, especially later in the movie, some things that happen that we'll get to, but like the whole maybe if this took place in Maine or Michigan or Minnesota
Or
somewhere more northern, I could buy it a little more, but the fact that they're in the south and this wax museum doesn't even melt a little. Like, it looks perfect. Like, the edges
Chiseled and
the
everything.
corners are crisp.
Yes.
You know?
Very, like, and it's also very detailed. You're like, okay, it never will melt. It's never going to, like, sleek up again. Like, it's just perfection. And the House of Wax sign is into the actual facade of the house.
Yeah, everything.
It spells it out. House of Wax.
I'm like, I don't even want to think too hard about it, because it's like, how did they even create this? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible feat, especially when you go inside and then it's all wax. Everything, the flooring, the stairs, the
There's even
piano.
plates and-
Yes.
Yeah.
There's an
silverware.
entire table setting. And
Yeah, they're just exploring it. They're like, none of these people are like famous. I
No.
thought Houses of Wax should have famous people in them.
I thought that was the whole point of it, so that
Yeah.
you could come and like take a picture with a famous person.
They're like recognized.
Yeah.
you know.
But these are, we don't know who any of these people are, and there are tons of them. There are people in every room, wax figures in every single room doing different activities, and they're all in different like outfits, times. It's clearly like people in different eras.
It's not a cohesive collection.
No. And so they're just wandering around looking through things. They kind of pick up on that there's a lady named Trudy and there's an artist named Vincent. And the lady named Trudy, it's like Trudy's House of Wax. There's like little signs, and then all the artwork is always signed Vincent. And
When they finally meet back up with what's the guy's name, the mechanic that they interrupted, he tells them like, oh yeah, Vincent, he created all the art. You know, they ask about.
Yeah, they're gonna get a better idea of who all these people are. But when they're in the House of Wax, they're just looking around, and she's like, I guess deciding she needs to like do her hair. So she looks in a mirror, and she sees a reflection in the mirror that's not hers. There's like a creep looking in from a window, and he has like a waxed face, but he's moving because he moves back out of sight, and it freaks her out. And so she sends Wade to go look around, and that's freaking her out more because now he's on that exterior of the house walking around, and she's getting really creeped out. She ends up like just scaring herself and runs out. She's like, let's get out of here!
Let's go! So they go back to the mechanic.
And Bo meets up with them.
And of course, they don't have the right size fan belt there that he needs.
Yeah, conveniently, the fan belts, they're all there, all the sizes except
The
for
15
the 15
inch, which he needs.
And he needs that one. And it's almost like the 15 was missing.
On purpose.
On purpose.
I bet it was. And he tells him, oh no, I have one up at my house. And he's like, you keep fan belts up at your house? He's like, yeah, all the supplies come into my house.
Yeah, we get deliveries there, have to keep extra stuff, so
Come on
we
up
go
to the
there, and there's like a moment where Carly's like, okay, and she's like being nice
Kind
to
of
Bo,
flirt.
and
Oh yeah, she's not even flirting
no,
with
she
him.
is not flirting with
But
him.
she gets-
She's just being nice, and
She gets accused of being flirty.
yeah, he just can't help it because he's just annoyed. Like, he's annoyed that his car's messed up. He's annoyed that his girlfriend's leaving, so he's gonna just be like, oh yeah, is your fan club growing? Like, this guy's liking you now too? I'm like, oh my gosh, Wade, that you're annoying.
Don't be insecure. It's a turn off.
Yeah, like, you're annoying.
But Wade also has to pee, so he's going to go into the house to get the fan belt and go pee. And Carly stays out in the car, but
Yeah.
while he's in there, shit is going to go down. He gets attacked
Yeah,
in the bathroom.
Yeah, so this is a good build-up, though. Like, she is waiting in the truck, and she kind of, like, gets just, like, a little like, come on, guys, it's, like, taking so long, and he's wandering around and looking through things, and they just got the 411 from Bo about, like, the town, who the people were, Trudy, her husband, who's a doctor, who was doing kind of, like, malpractice things, and so he couldn't practice anymore, and that's why they moved, and she made her House of Wax, and they had a set of kids, but then Trudy went insane with a tumor, and then the doctor shot himself, and the kids went into foster care. It's like
It went
tragic.
It went crazy.
But he's kind of seeing in the house, there's doctor stuff, there's weird specimens, and then the lights go out, and the lights go out at the same time that outside, Carly looks at the truck and realizes
The headlight is missing.
dun dun dun. So she gets on her cell phone and calls Paige and Blake because they're on their way back at this point, and
They missed the game. They got stuck in traffic. They're
yeah,
back.
and so they're gonna meet up with them back at that campsite, and so she's just gonna call and see, like, are they there at that campsite yet? Like, she needs rescuing because this is in fact that truck, and she's leaving a voicemail when Bo comes back outside.
And he's like, what are you doing? Get out of my truck. She's like, no, I'm going to stay in here till Wade comes back.
And
he's
Wade
like,
is inside
Yes.
being attacked because the lights are out and he can't see anything, and we see a trap door open from underneath, and a wax man, the same wax man that we saw in the reflection of the mirror with Carly, he comes and he snaps with these like gross rusty scissors the Achilles tendon of Wade, so he's immediately like not going to be able to get away.
He's down, he's howling in pain, he's trying to get away, but he can't because of his injury.
He's immobile at this point, like one leg is like not going to be working at all. And he gets stabbed a few times with those scissors again, and then he's being drugged down into the this corridor area underneath this basement tunnel that's going to connect everything underneath the town.
And then he gets all tied up into a contraption. Almost reminds me of like the beginning of the movie, like when they put the baby or the toddler that was being all tied up, but like a bigger version.
Yeah.
And he gets all strapped in, and you're like, oh no, what's going to happen to him? And wax gets poured all over him.
It's weird too, because like when he comes to, he's on that like table and he's getting all sewn up, and at first you get a little confused, like, oh, is that guy like taking care of him? Is he gonna be okay? But he's not, and he's like sewing him up, and then he puts wax all over his face, and he takes all of his hair off his face. And like that is so painful, and kind of 40-year-old virgin reminds me, like, oh, Kelly Clarkson.
It's like, just add insult to injury. Now you're waxing me before you kill me.
And when he puts him in that contraption, and it's very like, I don't know, maniac in a way. Like, okay, so this guy is a maniac. He's gonna cover him all in wax, and what, I don't know.
He's trying to make like the ultimate realistic sculptures. But I'm like, you're not really making a sculpture. You're just pouring wax over somebody's body. You're just
maybe you have to kind of carve it out a little bit,
you're like
but
just entombing them.
Yes, it's gross.
And
like
wax,
and they're gonna be all like. What I don't get is like nobody ever explodes. You know, their innards don't ever explode, because that's like something that people do.
Their mouths ever open, or their nostrils, maybe there's still air able to come through. Yeah, I get what you mean. Though, like when you blow.
Or the kind of like sometimes the opposite of what rigor mortis is. Like some people like just bloat up and explode. But I guess not there.
Not there. He's taking those precautions. They're just not in the movie.
We just don't get to see it. Sorry, I was putting way too much thought into it, getting lost.
He embalms them with like formaldehyde.
But he doesn't. He leaves them alive, and we'll see. Okay, so and maybe okay. Here we go. So Wade is now getting waxed, and Carly is running for her life. So she's gonna have this really awesome chase scene showdown in a truck with Bo, who she tries to lock herself in the truck, and she's like, I'm not coming out until Wade comes out. She
ends up having to crawl through the back window, gets out, starts running. Is this the really cool overhead shot?
Yes,
it's really intense, and I really like it.
A few good chase scenes in this movie.
And this one it's one single shot. It's like a bird's eye view of her running. He's behind her, getting closer and closer, and he basically just tackles her. It's a really creepy shot, and I think it should be done more. Like, it's a really...
Yeah, I love that overhead because it gives you just like you said, bird's eye view, and you also see like how big the town is.
Yeah, you get a good sense of distance. Even with like the running, like how close he is. Like, it's a good idea.
And it kind of reminds me, for some reason, it's very reminiscent, or maybe it's just that you later find out how much they love their mother and stuff. Like, in a weird way, it's a little Psycho.
Yeah.
You know, where the house is located and this, like...
Down below.
Yeah, down below. Like,
lure people in.
Yes, and what they do with those people. He's always putting them in that lake bog or whatever, but in this one, they make them into wax people. So I know it's not a direct, but it just kind of... I think they're influenced, maybe by that. Or I know they're also influenced by a previous House of Wax movie, but... Anyways, okay.
In case we didn't mention, which I don't think we did, this is a remake of the famous Vincent Price film that maybe we'll cover one day.
One day. Maybe we'll get around to it. Who knows? And go to another wax museum. All right. So, we get a really fun chase scene. She gets tackled, and then he ends up taking her to the gas station, and he has a...
Again, straps her in. There's a lot of being strapped in.
There's a lot of rooms with, medical chairs that they can do torture.
And this is located under the gas station, and he's tying her up. He starts super gluing her mouth together.
Yes, because they're, Dalton and Nick have taken Blake's truck and are the ones that were sent to meet them to go pick them up. but they don't have this message. They don't know anything. Like Blake hasn't even checked his voice message yet, so that he has no idea. Nobody has any idea that she's
they're in
like,
trouble.
in trouble. They just already knew that they needed to meet them back there.
And so they're roaming around looking for him, but in the meantime, she's being tortured. She's having her mouth glued, and then he does this creepy thing where he like blows
It's
to
so
dry
gross,
it, and then
yeah.
he kisses her. Yeah.
He's like trying to have his little gross romantic moment. She's fighting the whole time. She is our final girl. She does I think she's a really good final girl.
She puts up a fight, but he's more powerful ultimately. But she hears Wade above looking for them.
No, Wade is dead.
Oh, not Wade.
Yeah,
Nick.
she
What's
hears
the
her brother
brothers?
Nick, and Nick and Dalton are up there like dividing up the town trying to find, and
So Bo has to go up. He gets distracted, has to go up and kind of be like, no, everything's fine. Who are you looking for? You know, do his whole...
haven't seen him.
Yeah, do his whole towny shtick.
I'm the only one that works here, and I haven't seen him. And then he's like, well, maybe my brother was here earlier. Maybe he saw him, took him up to the house. So it could be that. But it's kind of like around that time. So she's down there trying to get out of her situation, and she's trying to get her lips open.
But she can't.
And Nick is convinced by the Bo guy to like go to the house, so he's like wandering off with him when she gets her mouth open, and she's like, Nick, oh my gosh, and then he fights back, and there's like a good little fight scene.
Well, a little before that though, she gets out of the straps and she tries to get his attention. She's sticking her finger out, fingers out, and weirdly he's able to grab like these
he has like
garden
plier
shears or
things,
and he comes and just snips her finger off. It's so gross. And at this point, she still can't scream because of her mouth.
Yeah, and now she has like a half of a finger gone.
Yeah. So she starts working on pulling her lips apart, basically.
Yes.
So she can scream and talk. She's gonna have really chapped lips.
Well, yeah, she's a lot of repair is gonna have to happen for sure.
Get her some lip balm.
Some lip repair for sure. She's gonna need that lanolin. I know it's like the thing, that oil that they put on ladies with nipples after that, or you know, like breastfeeding and stuff can kind of like do a number on your boobies. So you put like that oil on your nipples to soften them up.
She's gonna need it.
But women and, well, I'm sure just people in general, they put it on their lips too because it's really nice for your lips. You're gonna need it for sure because then she's gonna have fresh titty lips.
Oh, titty lips.
Okay, so yeah, she's missing half a finger, and Nick hears her calling, and then he fights with that Bo guy, and he's actually pretty agile, and he's able to lock himself in the gas station and lock Bo out.
Yeah.
And then he's able to get down to the basement and find her.
He's like, did he hurt you? And she's like, I'm missing half a finger. What do you think?
And then he's like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe that. And she gets like, I'm having to have a finger now. I don't know how I'm going to finger myself.
Well, at least her nails are trimmed on that one.
Forever.
So,
yeah.
So she can't
One
scratch
less-
up her vagine.
She can't scratch it because that's all we're doing, Josh, just scratching our vagines up. My goodness gracious. Okay, so Dalton. Let's cut to Dalton. He is in his own journey at the
Poor
House
guy.
of Wax.
He's
trying to find people, and he thinks that he just found Wade at the piano.
Yeah, he's clueless. He has no idea. He's like, oh, cool, a House of Wax. I'll go and look around. And yeah, he sees Wade at the piano. He's like, hey, Wade, we're looking for you guys. Wade, what's wrong? He sticks his finger in his cheek and when he pulls it out, it's like half, all the wax comes off with Wade's face.
Yeah,
you see
skin
his, like,
melting.
yeah, it's
Ugh.
nasty.
It's gross.
And so it's basically becomes part of you, and if you pull the wax off, you're pulling the face off.
Yeah, and Wade is, I guess, still kind of alive because he's like moving his eyes around. He's crying, obviously, probably in a lot of pain. And, anyways, what Dalton doesn't see behind him is the wax man coming for him.
Double knives.
And
knives ablaze.
he like goes to chop at Dalton, and Dalton, you know, gets out of the way, but then he ends up cutting Wade's face, so then we have like a half exposed face of
he's
Wade.
Even more, it's so gross.
This, all the, like, Wade does have a lot of torture happen to him.
He kind of gets it the worst.
Yeah.
The other ones kind of go quickly.
Yeah. Yes, that's
Wade
very
gets
true.
fucked up and then tortured for hours, apparently.
So sad. Sorry, I guess he just should have been a more understanding boyfriend and that wouldn't have happened. So for all you boyfriends out there, that's what happens when you're not understanding.
He went to the second location to pee, and Oprah says never go to the second location.
Yeah, that's like one thing that I have always taken from Oprah. Do not go to the second location.
And you know what? Because something always has to do with something.
Some always has to do with something. We haven't said that in a long time, but we
Gosh.
used to say that quite a bit.
If you listen to old episodes, that's an old catchphrase. We used to say
Something's
something's
gotta
got to
do with something. Okay, so now Dalton is being chased by the wax guy, and he doesn't get too far before he is beheaded.
Oh,
and
with the double knives, he comes
Yeah.
up behind him and just like swing, and off goes that head, and the head's still blinking, and you know,
It's
has,
sad.
Yeah,
Sad Dalton, because his only role really was served to be beheaded.
and he had that one nice moment when he really was trying to protect Eliza Cuthbert from the creeper.
Yes.
He was covering her up while the guy was staring at her.
And you
but-
could totally tell that he had a crush on her throughout it, and was, when he would film her with the camera, he was always really gentle, catching those smiles, catching those eyes. But yep. All right, Dalton dead, and he's being drugged to be waxed back
Yeah.
down in the.
And they put him in that contraption too, but poor. Do we see that? I forget. Do we actually
We
see that on
don't.
screen?
We don't
We see him later.
Yeah, we see him later, and he is in the contraption, and his head is reattached. So
Yes.
okay.
And
So
it has all these little spikies going through it,
It
trying to keep the head on.
it
I
has a
guess.
weird saw. Like it
Yeah.
the head contraption reminds me of the contraption from Saw that Shannon girl
Yeah.
wakes up in. Or okay. Anyways, now how many different movies have we like dropped in here and then tried to like
A lot.
like, let me share just a little bit from the little nugget from that movie. Okay, now let's go to the campsite where Paige and Blake are just, I guess, not bothered by the lack of presence of their friends.
Well, they're just worried about being horny and
Yep.
getting it on and riding each other's privates.
They're going to be riding each other's privates, but right before they get to ride each other's privates, the music shuts off, which is good because it wasn't a song I wanted to
it's
hear
just like,
anyways.
Come on, you sexy babe,
Yeah.
you drive me
You
wild.
got
Like, it's
your
like,
hot mama.
like it's the dumbest song ever. That she's like doing a little striptease in her velour pants, or like tracksuit.
That tracksuit that she was like known for, and a lot of
J-Lo wore that
yes,
tracksuit. Like, it
a
was
lot of
very
celebrities loved wearing that tracksuit. Some of them even had like the juicy
yeah,
on the
it's
ass.
like the juicy couture. Which is funny. I'm like, oh, the sweatsuit is couture.
Yeah, a sweatsuit be making you look juicy. Maybe. Okay, let's get back into it. So they about to die, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. They about to die. That music got turned off, and so he was turned off because I guess he can only get it up when the music is on. So he quit what he was doing and went out to see why the music wasn't playing, and he sees his phone. He sees a message.
He's like, well, shit, I better listen to it. And what is it? It's the message of Elijah Cuthbert being like, oh my god, it's the guys from the car. Come help us,
Guys, help! We're needing help. We're about to die. Like 80 hours later, you're getting this message. But anyway, so I guess also the wax guy was at the campsite in addition to like taking care of Dalton. That's what I don't get because he's like in two places at once.
Yeah.
Both the characters. So Paige gets a good chase scene. We don't really see how Blake. I guess we see that he's laying on the ground. He has like a knife in his throat,
And
but
Paris
we
Hilton's
don't
like,
see
oh
him
my god,
attacked.
I'm just gonna. She has to run through the forest, and then she comes across
Like a little warehouse.
a little warehouse really quickly too. By the way,
Yeah, it's just right there. Which
the other people had to like take a car for a minute. And
yeah, it was
then
supposedly
walk
15
across.
miles away.
Yeah.
The town was, but for Paris Hilton, long legs.
She
it's-
can run a 15 miles in like 2 minutes.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
a-
she's a sprinter.
It's a record. Usain Bolt has nothing on her.
Nothing. I mean, why she isn't an Olympian, I will not know.
It's because she doesn't have to. She has
true.
that Hilton money.
Yeah, that's true.
She's like, fuck you, I'll make my own gold medal.
I literally only run when my life depends on it, and then when I do, I run hella fast.
And it's in my underwear and like a boyfriend a boyfriend shirt.
Yeah.
over it. So she's running. She comes to this warehouse. She's hiding. It's a really fun, intense chase scene.
Yes, because the wax guy like goes for her like Achilles, and
Yeah, she's on this graded platform at one time.
it has
and
like
he's-
holes in
Yeah,
it.
and he's under her trying to like stab her through it, and it's one of those like, holy shit, that would suck.
Yes, like as she's trying to like
She's
run,
hopping around.
he's
Yeah.
stabbing, poking,
And he gets her one time too, right? In the
yeah,
foot, maybe?
in the foot,
Yeah.
like right slices her. It's like almost Wade's, but different slice.
Yeah. A lot of feet.
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
movie.
I guess he realizes that's a good way to take down your prey is, just knock out
Their
how they're
feet.
going to be able to get away, make them immobile. And so, but she does have a good idea. She finds this like kind of rusted part of a beam that she's like going to use as a weapon. It's jagged, and she's running around. She finds a few hiding spots. She ends up hiding in a car. She's all hunkered down. She sees him. He sees her.
Doesn't she throw the beam at him? She gets
She
him,
does,
right?
yeah. So she chucks the javelin-like beam at him, gets him in the face, and it takes off part of his wax.
Yeah.
And
Pisses him off.
unfortunately, she gave him a weapon, and he's a better used to utilizing them. So he throws it right back at her, and it penetrates all the way through her skull.
Yeah.
So that's how Paris Hilton dies, is getting
And then she falls.
Yeah.
And falls on it, and her head just slides
All the way
it.
down.
It's so grotesque and wonderful.
And you know that, like, that beam, the inside of that beam also has a part of her skull in it. Like,
Yeah. Well, and it was just rusty.
yeah.
So it's like if it didn't kill her, she was at least gonna get lockjaw.
But yeah, lockjaw for sure. But thank goodness
Died?
Died? Yeah. It was, yeah.
And there's no coming back from her injury.
Nope, she's dead. And so that's also like, for everybody in the audience, they're like, yay, that's kind of a pull. Why people wanted to come see that movie.
Yeah.
It's
See?
how it was kind of sold for a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
watch
See Paris Hilton die.
Watch her die. Okay, so now...
Oh, bumpy road. They're doing road
there's
work.
road work. We have road work. We have do not pass sign.
We are
And
not on the autobahn
You
anymore.
cannot pass. You cannot have grass. You cannot kiss my ass. You can't do any of these things.
So wind and bumpy roads today, guys. Thanks for being with us.
I know. We're so sorry. This is probably the most realistic road trip episode we've ever had, as far as road sounds are going. Well, where am I now in this movie?
Paris just died.
Paris just died, and so, okay, so now we have our siblings, and they are running through the town trying to find weapons or something. They find a crossbow in a shop window, because remember, guys, this is like supposed to be a town that has shops and has a pet shop and
there's a
movie
couple
theater, all that.
houses.
And so they get that just in time, because Bo starts shooting at them with like a shotgun.
Yeah.
And they find escape in a movie theater. This is a good scene too, because they kind of hide amongst
All the wax figures.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like a tense moment.
And they're watching whatever happened to Baby Jane.
It's instantaneous too. Like when they open the door to the movie theater, the scene pops up, and it's that "I've got a letter for Daddy." That really creepy part, and whatever happened to Baby Jane. Well, there's a lot of creepy parts of whatever happened to Baby Jane, but that one for sure. And pardon you.
Oh, so sorry.
He's got the sneezy.
My guess why they're using that movie is because it's also a movie about siblings.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's true.
Crazy siblings
Crazy
that are like,
siblings.
right in this house.
Working together. working together for daddy. So they're hiding in the different seats, and Bo starts going around, and oh, bless you, and he decides that he's just going to start shooting. So he does see Carly in the seats, but she gets out in time and scurries away.
She sees the shotgun being raised in her direction.
Yeah.
And she says, like, oh shit, and kind of like ducks just in time.
And she runs out into the lobby area, and her brother is waiting in the lobby area. He's all like crossbowed up and ready. And Bo comes out, and he gets 2 shots. He gets 2 arrows right into Bo. One's in the arm. Like, he is a good aim, too, because both of these are aimed at the guy's heart. And he gets a arrow in the boobie.
He gets a boobie arrow.
And an arm arrow. And he's taken out. And they think that he's dead. And I thought so, too. I mean, because that arrow, like, penetrated.
But they at least take him down for a little bit.
Yeah. So they run off, and now they're going to have to start looking for Dalton and for Wade. So they decide to go up to the house, back to the house, because also her phone is in that car. So they're like, if at all, we can just get the phone and get, like, to call for help. But then they can't find the phone in the car, the truck, where she had to escape from Bo at one time. And so then they go in the house, and when they go in the house, then they see like newsletter clippings and wax faces, and they realize just how fucked up everything is.
Yeah, it's so dirty and macabre inside, and dank. Like, you can smell it just watching this movie. You're like, it smells like wax and like stale farts, and ashes.
Somebody's a smoker. It just looks like it.
The air looks thick.
It's yellowy. It's brown. It's gross. There's
like they say in Tangled, it looks like it smells like the color brown in here.
Yes, it did. It does. So they are looking for anything they can, maybe a weapon. They kind of find guns, but then they can't get to them. And then Bo shows back up, and they have to hide in the house, and they're separated, and she's hiding in one area. She's found these like newspaper clippings that show that Trudy and her husband had Siamese twins. And so that's why we have this like wax guy, because he's not showing his face, because I guess he looks stuck.
He's really insecure, guys.
Yeah,
just leave him alone. This is all because of his insecurities and his abuse as a kid.
Yeah, he was abused, guys. That's why.
That's why he murders. Just understand him.
And it's just a lot. There's a lot going on.
And it's like a fight to the finish. They are fighting through this wax house. They've now lit a fire.
Well, hold on. They got separated, and like Nick is the one that finds the trap door that's going to lead them. They're not in the wax house. They're at the house.
Oh, at the house, yeah.
So they're going to have to get to the wax house. Nick finds the trap door. There's a tussle again. He finds his sister. They get down into the tunnel corridor. They get over to the wax side of the house. They find all the contraptions, and that's where they find the wax man. There's a big showdown down there. He lights the place, Nick lights the place up.
And it goes up easily because it's wax.
Yes. But they're able to get separated from both Bo and the wax man, and they're trying to escape. But now the house is melting, and it's kind of giving everybody a chance to play catch up. So they get both the brothers in the same house, and they have to kill them both.
Kill each other, and they're trying to get through this mucky, wax melting space now.
Yes.
And they're, getting stuck in it as they're trying to get away.
There's good imagery of all of the other dead people and their wax figures melting down to bone.
There's a creepy girl. I think it's supposed to be Paris Hilton, right? Maybe. It's a blonde. So
it's not Paris Hilton, no, but it's just one
another
of the,
blonde.
Yeah, girls.
And she has this look on her face, and as she's melting, it's nightmare fuel, as they say.
It is creepy and cringy, because you're just like, oh my gosh, these people have probably been dead for a long time, but now we're seeing all their bones. And
it reminds me of the smiles on the faces. Do you remember that music video for Black Hole Sun? Won't you come?
Wash away the rain on Black Hole Sun.
won't you come? Yeah, but all the
Won't
people
you
in that
come?
music video would turn to the camera and get these creepy smiles on their face, and that's what that wax girl reminds me of. It's so
It's just what you
so
said.
bizarre.
It's what nightmares are made of right
Yeah.
there. So everything is literally melting as they are trying to escape from the clutches of murderers.
Yeah,
And they do, and they end up murdering these people, which is great because they don't need to be living.
yeah. One just falls in the fire, right?
Yeah, well, he was. Now, Nick beat the shit out of that
Okay.
guy. But he was stabbed in the leg, and
It
there-
sinks into the floor.
yeah, he kind of sinks into the floor, and he's there for a long time, just mid-sunk. And Nick's got to go up the stairs because they're somehow chased up the staircase that's melting by the wax guy, but he doesn't have his face on anymore, and you can see that he is, in fact, missing half his face, that he was the Siamese brother that
Had most of the
been
injuries.
connected, yeah. And so his brother had at one point in the movie been screaming at him, calling him a freak, because that's what you do to people. Is just
Especially people you love.
Yeah, you just
keep
bully
that
them.
cycle of abuse going.
They just were caught in their cycle for
It's
sure.
like, we just got to remind each other of the old times.
There's a really tense moment too upstairs in the wax house where there's this wax bedroom, and she is having to battle the other brother, the wax brother guy, and Nick comes in and he has a knife in his leg because he got stabbed, and he's all rumbling around with him, tossing on the bed, and then the sister grabs the knife from her brother's leg and then stabs I guess Vincent would be his
Vincent,
name.
yeah.
Bo and Vincent. So the wax man is Vincent.
yeah.
And stabs Vincent in the side, and one of those blows that's gonna take you out.
Yeah.
He's out. That's a mortal wound. And so sister and brother are escaping out of that bedroom, and he is melting into that bed.
Yes.
And he ends up joining up with his brother again and lands like he would have if he was always connected to his brother.
Uh-huh.
It's a really neat
that's a cool
shot. And then they
the
both.
symbolism behind it is just amazing.
It is, it's a good connection.
They're back together for
full
eternity,
cycle,
you know,
exactly. And they all melt into the floor, and then they melt completely and get caught on fire. They're dead for sure. And now we get a really fun last-ditch effort of them crawling, clawing.
At the walls, trying to get the melted wax to pull so they can get through it, because
That's it. That's the only way they're
their
getting out.
only way out is to try to get through the wall.
And that's a fun shot of them on the outside. You see the House of Wax lettering on the house, and they are crawling out of that lettering. And it's also sliding down because they're on the second floor.
Yeah.
But how the wax starts to melt, they just get brought down
She's
to
like,
ground
"Watch
level.
out, the X is gonna land on your head."
It's crazy. And they get out, they are covered in wax from head to toe, but they do end up getting out and surviving.
It's
and
gotta
then
be really good for their skin, right?
I was just about to say, it must be really exfoliating, and they are gonna have no hair. I mean, it's gonna, I guess they'll need to wash out with really warm water the stuff on their heads,
Right,
but
yeah.
that's a good wax job they just got.
And for free.
It's for free. Well, I mean, 4 of their friends died.
Yeah, 4 of their friends paid for their wax
with their
job.
lives. So the town is also starting to kind of catch on. Some of the structures next to everything are starting to catch on fire, and we get the siblings wrapped up in each other, and then eventually dawn, and we see that there are fire trucks that have arrived, and a nearby town
And-
comes to put out the fires, and there's sheriffs there, and
Yeah, my favorite part is the sheriff's like, yeah, no one really even knew this town was here.
for 10 years.
It's just, off the beaten path, that's all.
Yeah, once that interstate came in, we just thought everybody moved away.
Yeah, no
Whoops.
one drove down this road
And we
ever
didn't
for like
ever
15,
see.
20, 30 years.
No detour. We didn't realize they'd put a detour sign up, but they've been taking people for 10 years. And
How
just
crazy. Like,
Which also doesn't make sense because there are people in that wax museum that look like they are from completely different eras and not just like from 10 years. Like they look like,
yeah, I think it has to have been going on for longer, but maybe not. They would have been little kids at first, but maybe it's implying their parents
Did some of that, yeah.
or it's like maybe the old bodies from, you know, how when the dad would do the experiments.
Yes,
and
yeah.
stuff.
There's a lot of unanswered things, but one thing that we are going to get an answer for that we didn't even know was a question.
There's a third brother.
Yes. And okay, here's the thing. If it had not always been said in the movie that there was just a set of twins, then I wouldn't be irritated or annoyed that at the end they tell us that there's 3 brothers. But they just keep lying to us through the whole movie. And then we find out that like the 3rd brother is that hillbilly guy that I guess is taking people to the town.
Yeah.
And he's, in cahoots as well. He's just as bad as everybody else. And we get a shot of him. He's in his truck, and he's got like this dog that we see throughout the movie too, that we find out is owned by the
and
brothers.
He's just sitting there with a shit-eating grin on his face, like, I'm gonna get you guys.
I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna get you.
I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think you know how to get out of this town.
No, you look pretty caught up.
And they're leaving, so.
And they're protected, and we do find Dalton's camera.
They are going back to Florida.
And they are never coming back, and they will never see a wax museum ever again.
They're like, we're done with wax.
But they've been brought together. They are loving siblings now to each other. They are safe. They have found comfort.
They just had to go through this. 4 of their friends had to die. It was just, but you know, it was worth it.
It was tragic, but nonetheless.
The tragedy brought them back.
All right, guys. Well, we are all wrapped up. This movie is donezo. It ends with just like My Chemical Romance song in credits. And yeah, so we are
not even to Arkansas yet. We have several more hours of driving left before we get to Hot Springs and get to go hang out and
listen to our navigation really quick. Tell us to turn a slight right.
We're trying to get some food.
Anyways, guys, we will see you in just a few.
Yeah, we'll
listen to these bad athletes.
We'll be back to tell you our final thoughts, star ratings, and wrap up the movie and tell you all about our trip.
All right, see you in just a second.
Driving away from Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Bon voyage, Arkansas.
Fare thee well. We had a great whirlwind of a day and night and morning there. We did some wax museuming and other things we just can't wait to tell you about.
Oh yes, we unfortunately did not get to take any dips in the hot springs, but we have had some drinks of hot spring waters.
Yes, that is true.
We arrived there, and we got to it. We were like, where is Josephine Tussaud's Wax Museum?
Yeah.
Give it to me, baby.
And the first thing you need to know going in is that she isn't a madam and she's not a Tussaud. She is Josephine Tussaud.
Mm-hmm.
So she is the illegitimate daughter of Madame Tussaud.
Of Madame Tussaud. She is a Tussaud. But Josephine is a force to be reckoned with. You wouldn't let us just take you on an experience.
Yes, first you pay your $10, and then you go up
Yes.
these stairs that are filled with Wax Museum characters. I have no idea who they are.
Okay, let's start off by you ascend up a staircase and you walk by a series of presidents. But don't even worry, guys, because the presidential theme is something that is carried throughout it. It's the most
And well, that's the thing. I'm not even sure they're all presidents because there's even a woman in a ball gown that doesn't look like any first lady, and you know what I mean. It's just weird. And then you get to the top, and there's Jesus on the cross.
Yes,
wax
there is Jesus and all of his disciples because there's the Last Supper.
Yes, there's a wax pietà. And I got to say, I think it's better than Michelangelo's.
Honestly, I mean, do you think that Michelangelo was inspired in some kind of transcendent way of the wax figure Pietà?
And the funny thing, absolutely.
Question mark.
One of the funny things about the place is that it hasn't been updated, I think, since Josephine died. It's very dark and kind of dank inside.
Yep. There's a very limited horror section. There's a series of 5 wax figures that are horrific.
Yeah, people getting cut or tortured, and then there's a Hitchcock, and then there's a Wolfman and
Dracula,
Frankenstein.
yeah.
And that's about it.
About all there is, guys.
And then they have, the representation is hysterical in these things. There's one, they have people, and you're like, that is not who that is.
No, not at all.
I think the funniest one was the Princess Diana and the Elizabeth II.
We walk into this area that's all royalty, and you see there's King Henry and Anne Boleyn and Marie Antoinette, and then King Louis, and you look over, and then there's the royal family, but it's the royal family of a certain time. Also, Nixon and Pat Nixon are in it. There's presidents everywhere. There's Teddy Roosevelt on a horse that legit looks frightened. President Barack Obama shows up at the bottom of the staircase. Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter. It's just heavy on the presidents. But yeah, Her Royal Majesty, the Queen, and
heavy on presidents and light on realism. Is
Yes.
how I would describe.
these are, I would say, dollar store wax versions of people.
It's definitely where a horror movie would take place. House of Wax 2 is going to be
It is going to be there. Yeah,
It will be.
we're going to be making it there. Wow.
And it takes, maybe 20 minutes to go through?
Yeah, and that's if you're making kind of hilarious Instagram stories. So you're kind of taking your time, posting and just making the best of it. It was hilarious.
One of my other favorites was the fairy tale section. There's a Cinderella whose wig is falling off, basically.
And they both have the cheapest little crowns on their heads.
Yeah, these little plastic dollar store
not even
tiaras.
actually sitting on the head. They're just, they're sitting on the head, but the comb part isn't pressed into the hair by any means. It's a hot, tragic mess, guys, in there. Hot Mess Express. But definitely we would say go out of your way to go to Josephine Tussaud's.
I think it's Tussaud. Hers
Tussaud's?
has an,
No,
D
Josephine
at the end, right?
Tussaud. I don't know.
I forget,
Josh.
but she's no madam.
She's no madam.
Yeah, that's
No, thank you.
But yeah, if you're in Hot Springs, go because it's hilarious.
It is, and it's kind of cheap.
Yeah, it's only $10 a person. So if you're you're not going in a big group, just go. You'll have a good laugh.
Funny.
But definitely don't travel out of your way for it.
No,
but travel out of your way for Hot Springs in general, because Hot Springs is a cool little mountain town with hot springs, bathhouses.
Oh, yes.
There's Bathhouse Row with all these cool, really old-timey bathhouses that you don't see anything like it anymore, really.
No, but you can go, you can have a full bathhouse experience, you can get a package, you can have a spa day, you can go to the museum and just see how it used to be, how a bathhouse was at one time, and in that area, how it was treated as therapy and very calming waters that brought you healing.
And they still believe in that, but like I guess like baseball teams and stuff used to come to Hot Springs just for that. They really believe that like if we
And
stay
place
in
their
Hot
balls in the hot
oh
springs.
yeah, they dipped them.
The baseballs, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh, get your head out of the dirty water.
My God, oh gosh.
Nasty.
But we had some delicious food. We had this place called Vault. We had
Diablo's. We had some
Diablo.
tacos and drinks at Diablo's, and then
we had beers at the only brewery in the national park.
oh, it was
at
amazing.
Hot Springs National Park.
And it was like made with the thermal hot springs water.
Delicious. Yeah, it was a great. I mean, we had kind of like a drizzly gray trip. We tried to go to the bathhouse this morning. Didn't realize we're recording this on Easter Sunday. Had to go. Bathhouses were closed for Easter. We didn't go yesterday because they were so busy. And we're like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll get up first thing in the morning. They're open
Bingo.
Sundays, but we didn't think about it being Easter Sunday.
Oops.
So yeah, epic fail. We'll have to come back because
We're
that's-
already thinking of how and when to come back.
Yeah, it's definitely the main draw of Hot Springs is going to the bathhouses. So we want to do that someday.
Oh, thank goodness, though, for this wonderful little whirlwind trip. It's
Thanks.
given us a chance to talk about House of Wax.
Yeah, but guys, there was no Paris Hilton wax figure at Mrs. Josephine's Wax Museum.
Yeah, we sadly, didn't get to see her in her wax form, and it would have been great because she does have a Madame Tussauds wax figure, Paris Hilton. So one day maybe we'll even go there.
Yes, we really need to because it's awesome. So yeah, go to Hot Springs, and do a lot of other things other than the Wax Museum. But getting into the movie, we're going to give you our knife ratings and our favorite scenes. What was your favorite scene?
Okay, I think my favorite scene is going to be the chase scene where Carly's chased by Bo, and it's that overhead shot. It's a nice, long, lengthy, girthy chase
Yeah.
scene that results in her, abduction and leads to that kind of like torturous experience for her in the chair. But I love kind of just that maybe 20 seconds that scene just is very like clutching my breast. I'm so scared for
Oh.
her, and she does not completely realize that like everything is wax. So there's that lady who pulls the curtain, and so she
Yeah.
kind of is like, help me, but she does not realize at
It's
this
not a real
moment it's
person.
not real. So it's just very terrifying, and he's a big guy compared to her, and it's just sad. You're like, oh no, I feel for her. Please don't hurt her, Bo. But he's like a crazy ass motherfucker. So yeah, he is going to. They're like chop her finger off.
That's right. It's-
So what is your like fave scene?
Oh, I gotta represent the Paris Hilton murder scene. One, it's a good chase scene also going from the campsite through the woods, then this factory, and then she's getting stabbed from the grate underneath, from like the great staircase. Then, the ultimate knife, or what is it? The big
No, it's
hole
like
through
a
her
pole,
head.
yeah,
But you
yeah.
also get like a lot of her like sneaking around the place. There's a lot of good tension in that
Hiding
scene.
in that car.
Yeah, hiding in the car, getting out of the car, and then ultimately getting the thing through the head, and then she falls, and you get the good gore gag at the end with her head just sliding down the pole.
Scary.
It's so good. And one of the fun things about the movie is just how over the top it is. Even from the very beginning, how it's shot very stylized, over the top. With like we said earlier, you don't see anybody's faces. Everything looks a little cartoonish.
Yeah, very over the top, and you're just kind of like, really? These people are just that kind of horrendous in a way,
Yeah.
like, but
It's a movie you
yeah,
gotta
they are.
suspend your belief a lot in. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot, like, why are you guys camping overnight? You could have done this in one day, this drive.
yeah, this whole drive could have been done in a day. Even if you left late at night, you would just have been arriving late
Right
at
at the time of
night.
the game,
Like,
yeah.
It's, yeah, a little ridiculous.
And if they're waking up at 2 p.m. and got to get to the game, the game probably started at like 4 or whatnot. So they could have left that morning and gotten there on time.
Yeah.
Just saying.
We're just saying. So, yeah, you've got to suspend belief in ways that you're kind of like, oh, really?
Yeah,
like,
this
I've
town
gotta-
in the middle of nowhere that just,
Yeah.
no one's been out here in 15, 20 years.
No, like the highway came in and then literally like no one came into the town anymore. So we
It's
just
like, well,
started killing people.
How are they living off the grid and powering this whole town then if there's no
and
one
enough
knows
people
about
have
it?
gone missing that like just nothing. Like, okay, all right. There's just a lot of things that you have to say like and accept.
It's like you basically come to this movie for the visuals, for like the weird, like, you know, like, oh, the whole house is melting stuff, or, you know, to see Paris Hilton die. Or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's a lot of fun horror,
Yes.
but the movie as a whole is kind of dumb in a
Yeah,
way.
the plot is like lightly strung together.
Yeah, but I mean, is it worth watching? Yeah, I've seen it a bunch of times. It's fun. It's a good one to show people who haven't seen it. If
And that
you're like,
end scene is really great with all the melting of
Yeah.
the whole house.
so what's your knife rating?
I'm gonna give it out of 5 knives. I think I'm gonna give House of Wax 3 knives.
Awesome.
I think it's enough to watch and to encourage people to like go see, check it out. It is worthy of those, like, as you say, kind of more stylized like kills and
just don't go in for believability.
yeah. Just know what you're walking into is gonna be some pretty cool, interesting ways to off people if you're a maniac and like wax.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2.5, mainly because like the whole house, like kind of the structure of like what the whole thing is about, like the town that, wow, just no one has seen or heard of. Like I said, but they're apparently tapped into the grid, but no, like is no one paying attention where all this electricity's coming from, or
Yeah.
like, how are they doing it?
Or they're in Louisiana, and how does that House of Wax even still stand?
Yeah, but no, it's a lot of fun. Check it out, see
Yeah.
it. I know Scream Factory has a really great Blu-ray, edition of it. Not sure what it's on online. Do you know what it's streaming on?
You can rent it on Amazon Prime or buy it on Amazon Prime. But yeah, that Blu-ray is nice. The cover is that Paris Hilton poster with the wax face, right?
No, it's something different. I think that might be on it, but it's like
Okay,
a
or
big.
like on the disc or something.
That's the original poster and
Yeah.
stuff. Or yeah, maybe it's on the disc, but has Vincent with his knives and a bunch of images on the front.
Vincent with his titty knives.
City Knives. But we'll be coming back in May with our Frightmare episode, one of our favorites to do every year.
Yeah, we'll be driving down to the Dallas-Fort Worth airport and staying at that Hyatt.
Yep, and stay tuned, and we'll tell you all about it in the next episode. But in the meantime, go to our Instagram, check us out on Facebook, TikTok, all the places. It really helps us out if you go and leave us a little review.
Yep.
Give us that 5-star rating. We're also doing reaction videos on YouTube, so Scream Queens Podcast on YouTube. Check us
Yes.
out there. Subscribe.
Check out those blind spot reactions and just love you guys, and check you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.